Hey guys, week number 8, main slate, big slate, 13 games. So we're gonna have some pretty big scores this week for sure. We got some high ceiling players to say the least. Chase, Tyreek, AJ Brown, McCaffrey, Mahomes, all the boys are on this one. So you're gonna have to bring your A game and probably have to go for a little bit more ceiling than usual instead of playing it safe. So let's see what we got. If you haven't yet, come join Fantasy Points. Give a thumbs up on the video. Always comment if you got any suggestions, questions, and when you can, come into Discord on for Fantasy Points. College and NFL is the best around. Anyway, per usual, DraftKings basic stack, 20 lineups. And I got the flex, running back, and receiver. I'm going to show you these settings real quick. Max flex exposure with these high ceiling receivers on the slate this week. I actually bumped the receivers to be in the flex a little bit more. It's not a don't have to set it there. It just seems like this week might be a little bit more explosion type receivers overall. I did mess around with the ownership, just something different. So I put the max team ownership of 140. You can play around with it. Depends on the contest that you're entering. Obviously, the bigger the contest, like a Millie Maker, you want to put it down to probably 110. I mean, I've seen it win higher, but 100. I've seen it as low as 90. I think 90 to like 120 in that range, but a little bit more, I guess, safer a little bit. But anyway, there's no set rule on that. That's something that you can just play around with on that part of it. And max exposure by position, quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end. This settings I did, not set in stone. You can play around with it once again. And randomize. I didn't mess with this one. But let's look at the custom stacks that I made this week. We'll start with Jalen Hurts. Washington's not very good, especially to outside receivers. And AJ Brown, just go look at his logs. He's just absolutely destroying everything that there is. And yeah, really good matchup. But also on the other side, Eagles have been getting hurt by receivers too. They do play a little bit slow. They do hog the ball, but the prices on the Washington receivers are actually pretty good. I threw Terry in here. He's been an Eagles destroyer in the past, but I'm actually okay with Samuel and Dotson actually. A little bit lower owned on Dotson, but he pops for me a little bit. Stack number 2, we got Burrow. Yeah, they're playing San Fran, but we just saw what Kirk Cousins and the rookie Addison did to him. So let's see what Mr. Jamar Chase can do to them. Yeah, he's got a really good matchup, and he's Jamar Chase. Ayuk was a letdown last week, big time with no Debo. That was a shame on the showdown slate. I'm expecting to bounce back, and I don't want Mixon and Joe Burrow in the same lineup on this one. All right, let's go look at some of the values we got going on this week. Let's see. We'll look at Sam Darnold, super cheap. He's actually got a decent projection for 4,300. He's gonna, he's got a little bit of ownership. Quarterbacks don't usually worry about that much, but he actually might in bigger fields. He'll probably jump up. Mac Jones, probably have to update this. I'm put it at like 1%. For Lamar after the explosion last week. Yeah, that stack I shared last week with Lamar, Andrews, and St. Brown went off, but the rest of my pieces just didn't get there, unfortunately. All right, let's go look at the running backs. Breece Hall, too cheap, 5,900. Going to be massively owned. This will be bigger in smaller single entry 3 max contests. Giants are not very good at all. These just looked amazing, and I don't see anything changing. Kamara in a really good matchup. Mixon's interesting against San Fran. I think his ownership's a little high. Probably going to bring this down a little bit. Pacheco in a really good spot against Denver. People continue playing Stevenson. I just don't get it. Him and Zeke are just sharing time. Don't like it. Bajan, everybody's mad at him last week for the non-reporting injury. 10%. Got a tough matchup against Tennessee, but you can't get to them if they can roll them out and use them in the pass game a little bit more. We'll go to receiver. There's Terry McLaurin. So he's actually top value. We talked about the Washington receivers in the stack that I made. Makes perfect sense. Ownership isn't crazy. Drake London. You can get to Tennessee pass funnel. Mario Douglas is interesting against Miami. No ownership at all, but showing a really good value this week. We'd assume they're in a negative game script. I think they overachieved last week playing the Bills, and I think they may be in trouble this week against Miami. It's AJ Brown, who we like. Collins, Flowers getting a lot of ownership. And I'm going to take a wild guess. This is going to be McBride, probably the best value and the biggest ownership. Oh, he's not. Dallas Gobert shows the best value, and Trey McBride. Look at this ownership, massive. Got to update Hayden Hurst too. Anyway, so let's optimize and see what we can spit out this week. One thing, weather's going to start playing a role here soon, guys. So keep an eye on some weather games. November's just in a few days. There's this one. I think it was, let me go look at this. 17, I think it was. There was one that I kind of liked. See if it's the same one. I like this lineup for the Broncos against Kansas City. Not the biggest fan of that, but I like the rest of the pieces in this game. Yeah, I like this one quite a bit, actually. See if there's any other ones that's Stevenson. I just don't get it. He goes off. Oh well. Guys, even putting out 30% of them. Wild. Lamar, Flowers. Yeah, in these bigger fields this week, I think you're going to have to triple stack. So that's a double stack and come back. So like a Burrow, Chase Boyd, have a comeback. If you can, IU or CMC, Kittle, something like that, and then bigger ones. But these smaller ones, just play the best plays. All right, well, that's going to do it. Just going to scroll through some of these. I know you guys probably pause the video and look at some of these lineups. And, there might be one that you like. Maybe you like Stevenson this week. I think he's in a timeshare and big disappointment for season long for sure in best ball. But maybe he'll come around. Yeah, that's going to do it, guys. Good luck this weekend, and we will see you next week.